Imagine Lagos, Nigeria. A city that just, well, it never truly sleeps, does it? Every street corner isn't just bustling with life. It's this vibrant marketplace, a real hub of commerce.
It really is. Constant energy.
And within that electric energy, something profound is unfolding,
Yeah.
something, potentially more potent than any traditional bank branch you might see.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to the deep dive, where we peel back the layers on these epic struggles, these clashes between, let's call them corporate dynasties, and the insurgent titans who dare to challenge them.
And today we're diving headfirst into one of the most compelling battles shaping Nigeria's future right now. It's a really high-stakes showdown happening right in the heart of its massive informal economy.
Okay, so who are the players?
Well, on one side, you've got Zenith Bank,
Mhm.
the quintessential long-standing legacy titan. A household name?
Right, the establishment.
Exactly. And on the other side, OPay, a Chinese-backed fintech powerhouse, and it's been rising with, frankly, astonishing speed.
So it's kind of like Goliath versus David.
Sort of, yeah. But a David backed by some very significant global capital. That's the twist.
And the stakes, you mentioned high stakes, they seem really palpable. We've seen the numbers for Q1 2025. Overall e-banking income across the Nigerian banking sector actually rose. Sounds good.
On the surface.
Wow. The Zenith Bank, kind of surprisingly, saw a significant 19% decline in that same period. They pulled in, what was it, 16.17 billion.
It's still a lot of money, but the trend is worrying for them.
Especially when this happened while their fintech rivals were just aggressively, hoovering up digital transaction volume.
Capturing that flow.
So Zenith's response, they'd almost doubled their IT spending in 2024, doubled it to an incredible euro 67.3 billion.
Wow.
That's not just like a routine investment. That feels like a declaration of war, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. This isn't just about quarterly revenue figures. It's about market share. It's about relevance. It's about the very future of finance in Africa's largest economy. It's a fascinating case study in disruption. It really is.
Okay. And as always, before we plunge deeper, just a quick note for you listening. Our content, everything we discuss, it's built entirely on news, public statements, and official records.
That's right. Publicly available information.
And our mission today is pretty straightforward. Give you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about this really pivotal financial battle. We want to uncover the unexpected strategies, maybe highlight the sheer, you could say, heroism of established players fighting to adapt.
Yeah, that adaptation piece is huge.
And extract those crucial lessons these seismic shifts hold, especially for anyone, navigating rapid disruption in today's business world. It's a story of survival, innovation, and strategic brilliance, hopefully.
Definitely. And to really grasp the intensity of this clash, we absolutely have to set the scene. Nigeria's economy is, well, it's distinct. You've got over 200 million people.
Huge population.
Massive. And a colossal portion of the economic activity happens in these informal markets. Think bustling street vendors, small family businesses, daily cash transactions, back and forth.
It's the dominant reality for many.
It really is. It's not just a segment. It's the dominant economic reality. And that makes it the ultimate battleground for financial services.
Right. And into this, let's say, fertile ground, fintech has just exploded. You have to consider this trajectory. Back in 2019, fintech accounted for maybe, 1.25% of financial sector revenues in Nigeria? Tiny.
Almost negligible in the grand scheme.
But by mid-2025, that figure is projected to skyrocket. We're talking between 10 and 12%.
That's an incredible leap in just a few years.
It's not just growth, it's a tectonic shift, isn't it? It's redefining who controls the flow of money for literally millions of people.
Absolutely. And on one side of this divide stands Zenith Bank, established way back in 1990 by Jim Ovia. Zenith is, well, it's more than just a bank. It's an institution, a bedrock of the Nigerian financial industry.
A pillar.
Exactly. Today, it's under the leadership of CEO Adara Umioji, who took the helm just recently, March 2024. And Zenith isn't just, surviving, it's a celebrated leader. They recently bagged prestigious awards, Bank of the Year, Retail Bank of the Year at BAFI 2024.
So they're still strong, still recognized.
Unquestionably, they are the incumbent champion, steeped in legacy, and importantly, trust.
Okay. Then you have OPay, the agile disruptive challenger. Launched in 2013, fully licensed in 2018. Now, it's crucial to understand OPay isn't some, fly-by-night operation.
No, definitely not. That's a key point.
They're insured under NDIC, that's the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, just like the traditional banks. It's a massive point of reassurance for users, right?
Huge. It gives them legitimacy. But what truly supercharges OPay is It's significant Chinese backing. We're talking about a SoftBank-led funding round in 2021.
SoftBank, okay. Big name.
Very big. They pumped $400 million into OPay, and that valued the company at an astonishing $2 billion.
$2 billion for a relatively new player.
Exactly. Now, put that in perspective. That single valuation, $2 billion, is roughly 33%, a third of the combined valuation of the top 5 Nigerian banks put together.
Wow. That's not just a challenger. That sounds like an empire in the making.
It certainly has those ambitions. And OPay's meteoric rise isn't solely about deep pockets, though that obviously helps. They've ridden these massive socioeconomic tailwinds.
Like what?
Well, Nigeria boasts rapidly increasing mobile penetration. Almost everyone has a phone. You've got a very youthful demographic that's inherently tech-savvy and soaring internet adoption.
So, perfect conditions.
Absolutely tailor-made
Yeah.
for a mobile-first financial service to not just thrive, but to basically explode onto the scene.
Okay, so given OPay's formidable backing, perfect market conditions, how does Zenith Bank, this established Goliath, even begin to counter that kind of momentum? This is where Zenith's strategic counterattack comes in. You called it corporate heroism earlier, and maybe it is.
It takes guts, for sure.
It starts with this enormous investment in digital transformation. We mentioned that doubling of IT spending to $67.3 billion in 2024. What exactly are they pouring that money into? What does it signify strategically?
Yeah, it's not just a vanity project, throwing money around. A significant portion is going into upgrading core systems like FlexCube. That's their foundational core banking software.
The engine room.
Basically, yeah. Think of it as the central nervous system of their entire operations. Upgrading it allows for faster transaction processing, much better data management, and crucially, the ability to roll out new digital products far more efficiently.
And security. That must be a big part, too.
Oh, absolutely. A major chunk is dedicated to expanding cybersecurity, which is just non-negotiable in an increasingly digital and, let's be honest, often vulnerable financial landscape.
Yeah.
You have to protect the customer data and the bank's integrity.
But it's not just about the digital backend, is it? You mentioned Zenith is also making this aggressive push into physical infrastructure, specifically with their point of sale, their POS terminals.
Yes, sir.
They've seen remarkable growth there, 14.8% year over year, from about 414,000 to 475,000 terminals. What's the strategic thinking behind this sort of brick and mortar push when everyone else seems to be going purely digital?
That's where the nuance lies, I think. While fintechs like OPay excel in mobile, many merchants, especially in that informal economy, still rely heavily on physical POS for everyday transactions. Cash is still king, but cards and transfers via POS are vital.
So meeting them where they are.
Precisely. By expanding their terminal footprint, Zenith is explicitly targeting merchant revenue. They're effectively capturing transactions right at the point of sale. It shows they understand that digital transformation isn't just about having a slick app, it's about meeting customers where they are, in all the ways they transact.
And we know from insights shared by the former CEO, Ebenezer Onyeagwu, before 2024, that Zenith has been relentlessly focused on building robust digital capabilities, creating truly omni-channel experiences.
Connecting all the touch points.
They launched their Zivio chatbot, developed specific SME lending platforms like Grow My Business and Z-Woman. Onyeagwu himself put it quite clearly, didn't he? He said, "We are building robust digital capabilities and omni-channels, partnering and collaborating with fintechs to reinforce our retail franchise."
That last part is fascinating, partnering and collaborating with fintechs.
Yeah, the very forces disrupting them. What do you make of that?
It's smart. It's a recognition that you can't necessarily beat everyone at their own game, so you strategically collaborate where it makes sense. Maybe integrate their services, learn from them, leverage their agility in certain areas. It's pragmatic.
And speaking of strategy, this adaptation, it comes with a hefty price tag beyond just the IT spend, right? Zenith spent nearly $31 billion on advertising in 2024.
$31 billion on ads. That's serious money.
It is. And this aggressive marketing, it isn't just for brand visibility, is it? It feels like a direct counterpunch to that fintech momentum, trying to retain their valuable corporate clients, maybe bolster their retail perception in the face of this intense competition.
Absolutely. They need to remind everyone, individuals, businesses, why Zenith is still relevant, why that trust and legacy matters, even in this new digital age.
So for any strategist listening, what's the crucial, maybe less obvious lesson here from Zenith's counterattack, beyond just spend more on IT? What's the real insight into how a deeply entrenched legacy giant battles this kind of disruptive innovation?
I think it's the The paradox of scale combined with the necessity of cultural agility.
Yeah.
Zenith has immense financial muscle, that existing trust. Those are priceless assets. You can't just buy them overnight.
Right.
But the true insight, I think, is how they leverage that trust and their vast customer base to accelerate digital adoption, rather than simply throwing money at technology hoping something sticks.
So it's not just tech, it's integrating it.
Exactly. Many incumbents fail because they don't manage to integrate their new tech with their core value proposition in a way that resonates quickly, deeply with the customer. Zenith is attempting to prove that a large ship can turn, but it requires this full-scale cultural commitment, top to bottom, not just an IT department project. It's about mindset.
That's a great point. Now let's pivot. Let's look at OPay's side of this conflict. Their strategy is, well, it's a masterclass in unconventional warfare, isn't it? Leading to what you can only describe as an explosive ascent.
Truly explosive.
Their growth in user adoption has been simply unprecedented. By May 2025, OPay had already surpassed 50 million downloads on Android. 50 million.
That significantly outperforms other prominent fintech peers in Nigeria. Names like MoneyPoint, PalmPay, Kuda OPay is way ahead on downloads.
What's the secret sauce then? How do you get that kind of viral adoption?
Well, their accolades do speak for themselves. OPay was crowned the 2024 MVP among banking apps in Nigeria. High praise for its seamless user experience, the UX, and its incredibly effective agent-driven distribution model.
Okay, agent-driven distribution. Let's unpack that.
But from a strategic perspective, I think the most interesting aspect of their approach, and really the key to that viral growth, is their deeply targeted model.
Retargeted? In what way? Who exactly were they targeting that maybe Zenith and perhaps others were missing or underserving?
Precisely. OPay didn't try to be everything to everyone, especially at the start. They hyper-focused on previously underserved segments. Think food delivery riders weaving through traffic, the bike hailer fleets, the street vendors, the thousands of corner shops, the kiosks that form the backbone of the informal economy.
The people doing small, frequent transactions.
Exactly. Their viral growth exploded through their network of agents, particularly in these peri-urban areas, the edges of cities, and deep within urban neighborhoods. They essentially created a financial ecosystem where none truly existed before, or where it was very difficult to access traditional banking.
And what was the core offering that made it so sticky?
Simplicity and cost. They offered remarkably low or even zero fees for many transactions and an ultra-fast, super simple onboarding process. If you're someone who lives transaction to transaction, where every minute and every naira counts, that speed and low cost were absolute game changers.
Takes away the friction.
Completely. And while that rapid growth naturally raised some eyebrows, maybe some skepticism, OPay has been quite quick and quite vocal in addressing any legitimacy concerns.
Right, you mentioned they highlighted their NDIC insurance.
Yeah, an OPay spokesperson explicitly stated, reassuring the public about their regulatory standing, I'm quoting loosely here, "We are not a Ponzi scheme. OPay is insured under NDIC like other banks." That's a powerful statement. It directly addresses a common fear people have with fast-moving, new financial platforms.
Builds trust in a different way.
Yes, through transparency and regulatory validation. So for strategists, OPay's playbook offers this powerful lesson. It vividly demonstrates how understanding niche markets, leveraging really unconventional distribution channels, in their case, this army of street-level agents, and offering ultra-convenient, low-cost solutions can create truly explosive, grassroots-driven growth.
Even against giants.
Even against formidable, well-funded incumbents like Zenith. It's about finding and meeting an unmet need with unparalleled ease and accessibility.
So when you look at the actual clash in the field, the contrasting strategies become incredibly stark, don't they? Zenith Bank, with its legacy model, still relies heavily on physical branches, that big-ticket corporate presence.
The traditional strength.
Which is effective for traditional banking, no doubt. But it struggles to match the speed and the sheer widespread reach required to really penetrate Nigeria's vast informal economy. It's almost like trying to win a street race with a luxury sedan instead of, say, a nimble dirt bike.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And in direct opposition, OPay built this incredibly agile agent network. These agents are like the financial capillaries, right? Reaching deep into communities, serving informal workers who conduct daily, small-value, but incredibly high-frequency transactions.
Tailor-made for that market.
Perfectly suited for the realities of the market they serve, where proximity, ease of access, maybe even a personal relationship with the agent often trumps the need for a polished bank branch miles away.
And adding another layer of complexity, maybe another twist, to this entire conflict is the regulatory landscape. You've got the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN.
Always a key player.
They reintroduced a commission on turnover, or COT, via this negotiated current account maintenance fee back in April 2025. It's capped at a maximum of €1 per mil, so one for every 1,000 naira transacted. How does this specific regulatory move affect the game?
This is fascinating because it directly constrains traditional bank fees,
Yeah.
especially on the kind of high-frequency, low-value transactions that really define the informal economy. That euro per mil might seem small, but it adds up, and it puts a ceiling on what banks can charge.
Whereas the fintechs.
Exactly. Meanwhile, fintech's zero-fee or ultra-low-fee models directly erode the commission income that banks traditionally relied quite heavily on. So, in an almost ironic twist, a regulatory shift, perhaps designed for stability or standardization, actually ends up inadvertently favoring the disruptors like OPay by squeezing traditional bank revenue streams.
Wow. The law of unintended consequences.
You can say that.
Yeah.
And the numbers, well, as they say, they don't lie. Zenith's e-banking income fell by that 19%, remember?
Right, even as the overall sector grew.
That's directly juxtaposed against the overall banking sector's e-banking revenue, which grew during the same period. This isn't just a blip, it's a clear signal that these fintech channels are gaining significant market share fast.
And OPay specifically.
Well, OPay reported capturing as high as 80% of mobile money operator transfers and 20% of non-merchant POS transactions way back in 2021. All indicators suggest they're still growing aggressively, maybe even faster by 2025. They're not just eating into market share, they're fundamentally redefining it.
So this is more than just a financial skirmish then. It feels like a race for, what, the ultimate prize?
I think that's fair to say. Whoever dominates the retail wallet, particularly in the informal sector, captures the daily cash flows, the financial heartbeat of millions and millions of Nigerians.
Huge implications.
Massive. And while regulators, quite rightly, have concerns about systemic dependencies, maybe concentrating on a few fintech players, data governance issues, capital adequacy requirements for these new entities.
All valid concerns.
Very valid. But the reality on the ground in this particular market, for both the provider pushing the service and the user pulling it, convenience often wins out. Speed and ease, every single time.
So for strategists watching this unfold, what's the critical takeaway here about distribution models and the impact of regulation? It feels like agility and innovation aren't just reshaping market leadership anymore. They're fundamentally rewriting the rulebook.
They absolutely are. I think the key insight is that the last mile of distribution, especially in an economy dominated by informal activity, is the strategic high ground. OPay perfected this hyperlocal, agent-driven model that essentially sidesteps traditional infrastructure entirely.
Leapfrogging.
In a way, yes. For legacy players like Zenith, the lesson isn't just to innovate digitally with apps and chatbots. It's much harder. They have to fundamentally rethink their entire physical and human distribution strategy to meet customers where they truly transact. And often, that just isn't inside a bank branch anymore.
Okay, so what comes next in this, well, captivating ongoing saga? What's the outlook?
Well, for Zenith Bank, they will undeniably continue their heavy lifting on the IT front, keep expanding that POS network, and double down on digital customer engagement, SME channeling, all the things we discussed.
There's a but.
But critically, I think, to truly compete for that informal economy prize, they must find a way to accelerate their own agent-level infiltration. They need to somehow mirror or counter OPay's grassroots success, which is easier said than done given their structure.
And OPay, what's their trajectory?
For OPay, it seems pretty clear.
What?
Scale further, extend into microfinance services, small loans, offer savings products, maybe with attractive interest rates,
Right.
and definitely push into other African markets. This isn't just a Nigerian play for them.
A regional ambition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to see it as part of this broader trend, this geopolitical lens of Chinese capital flowing significantly into African fintech, often aligned with these SoftBank or Opera-backed models. It's a global blueprint playing out very effectively at the local level in Nigeria.
And from a macro perspective, Nigeria's informal economy, it isn't just an economic battleground. It feels profoundly political, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's this constant balancing act, balancing street-level loyalty, economic inclusion for millions who felt left out, with the necessary regulatory oversight and stability concerns. There's a real push and pull between empowering the people financially and maintaining central control or oversight.
Fascinating dynamic. So let's leave our listener with something to chew on, a provocative thought, perhaps.
Okay, well, here's one. This battle for Nigeria's financial future, it's far from over. Will the sheer disruptive force of fintech lead to one side, like OPay, ultimately dominating the retail space? Or will we see more collaboration? Will these banking titans like Zenith and the nimble fintechs create entirely new hybrid models that actually blend the best of both worlds, trust and reach, legacy and agility?
That's a big question. And the regulators.
Exactly. How might regulators respond down the line? Will we see different kinds of licenses, maybe tiered licenses, stricter data location regulations? And how will that fundamentally influence the power balance in the years to come? These are the things to watch.
So wrapping up, it really is this high-stakes war between legacy might and insurgent agility and the informal economy. That's the ultimate prize, isn't it?
It truly is. Zenith Bank brings that hard-earned trust, an extensive branch network, real institutional muscle built over decades. You can't discount that.
But OPay offers something different, a new kind of trust maybe, built on sheer, ubiquitous convenience, incredible velocity, and this expansive agent network that seems to reach everyone, everywhere.
Exactly. And whoever captures Nigeria's retail wallet, remember, they do more than just transact money. They are fundamentally shaping the livelihoods, the daily existence for 200 million people.
A profound impact. So maybe the final thought for you, our listener, is to consider what these dynamics, legacy versus disruption, distribution battles, regulatory shifts might mean for your own industries, your own strategic thinking, especially when you inevitably face disruption yourself.
You've been listening to Empire and Legacy, African Business Chronicles. Our hosts are Zuri Mwangi and Kwame Adeyemi. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, X, Instagram, and YouTube. All links are in the show notes. Subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform, and share this episode with fellow business leaders. Main episodes are released each Monday. Our hosts delve deeper into the CEOs at the helm on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we explore the global perspectives, the standout businesses and CEOs, emerging trends, and geopolitical developments, presenting both risk and opportunity. We're